Good day everyone, I'm Entom64 and welcome to another edition of the endlessness that we're calling HFC in 2015, what you may have missed. In this edition, July's edition, if you will, you'll see that when it comes to getting playthroughs together to fill up a month, and especially when the only two people available to record at the time are myself and Helldragon, we tend to favour stuff that's quick and easy to record, and also easy to commentate over. Retro playthroughs, essentially. Mostly of the 2D variety, but with an adventure game or two thrown into the mix. There's a lot to cover, so I'll touch on each game briefly, and then move on to some important information regarding HFC in the near future. Let's begin. We kicked off July with a look at Mega Man 3, and boy did the plot increase tenfold in this one. Following 8 more destroyed Robot Masters, it was revealed that, of course, Wily was behind it all. We took his plans, and we threw them in the trash. The world was saved. End of statement. Next up was one of Helldragon's picks, EcoQuest, The Search for Cetus. This is an edutainment game by Sierra, and while it may not sound too appealing for a playthrough, it actually turned out pretty well. THD considers this one of his best playthroughs, but then again, anything that allows him to mock seafood on a massive scale gets a pass, really. Following our undersea adventures, we took up the Vampire Killer Whip and trudged head first into the foreboding Castlevania on the NES. This was a full run, and short enough to fit into a single video. Yes, Helldragon did enjoy squeeing about Simon Belmont. No, Simon will never be included in Smash. No. Next up was a run of the Super Nintendo version of Sparkster. I've actually still got my cartridge for this one from back in the day, when I was a wee young Tom64, but sadly due to its difficulty and the fact that you have to at least beat the game on hard mode to see everything, I never completed it back then. Thankfully, that's what commentary with friends and save states is for. Everything about Sparkster, but especially the soundtrack, is still a rocking good time. Following Sparkster, we kicked off the first ever LucasArts adventure game playthrough on HFC, and naturally we had to go with one of the best, The Secret of Monkey Island. This was easily the longest playthrough of the month, sitting pretty at 8 parts long and spanning about 2 weeks. But you don't just learn ancient secrets in a day, no, it takes many hours of riffing and retaking to get the goods, and THD and I had a good time sinking our teeth into this one. We'll definitely be returning to the Monkey Island series sometime in the future. Next up was a handheld game from a series we kicked off 2015 with, Super Mario Land. Much like Sparkster, this one I also still have the physical copy for, but unlike that sword-wielding possums title, I actually have beaten Super Mario Land prior to doing a playthrough for it. That's not really something to brag about, since Land is pretty easy, but it was nice to finally close that chapter of my gaming life, and the playthrough bookended things nicely. All in all, a pretty fun playthrough. Following Super Mario Land, we returned to the Castlevania series to take a look at the third NES game, Dracula's Curse. If you've ever watched me livestream, and I apologise if you have, you'll know of my trials and tribulations with this one. How I got right up to the end of the game, was thrown down into the gutter that is the game over screen, and just never went back to it. Well, the playthrough sure is on the other foot now, and I talked over it, making me the victor. Much like with Monkey Island, we'll be returning to the Castlevania series sometime in the future to cover the 4th game. Stay tuned. Next up was the penultimate game of the month, Mega Man 4. This, and the next game I'll be touching on, were the perfect way to close out this THD-riddled month of ours, I think. The energy was kept up, THD and I had a lot of fun, and in general I think it went more smoothly than our Mega Man 3 run did. I hope you'll forgive me for patting myself on the back, trust me, I try to keep it to a minimum. The game itself is probably my favourite of the NES games we've covered so far. Well, next to Mega Man 2, anyway, but, that's the most popular one, not really fair to pick that. We're not done yet, though. Look out for Mega Man's 5 and 6 coming later in 2015. Lastly, we took a look at the sequel to Super Mario Land, Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins. This one is a similar case to Land 1 and Sparkster, although I've long since lost my original copy of the game. It was one of those titles that taunted me for years because of my inability to complete it. That damn Castle of Warriors just got me every time. But now, thanks to the LP format and the will of a Helldragon, we successfully managed to push through and finish off the month on a high note for you guys. And that brings us up to date on all the playthroughs we covered this month. Sure, retrotastic or not, that's a new record, I think. Next, some miscellaneous stuff. We covered not one but 2 Splatfests this month. Flame and I teamed up for the Pop vs Rock one, and while my internet was giving us a bit of a jip, I played my part, as did Flame, and we helped push Team Rock forward to its eventual victory. The second Splatfest was covered by Volk, who was unavailable for the Pop vs Rock kerfuffle. This one featured one of the most difficult decisions anyone would have to make. Which is better, eating or sleeping? Obviously you can't enjoy Doritos while you're sleeping, so I went with Team Eat. Didn't have a chance to play this one myself since I was busy with HFC stuff at the time, but thanks to Volk and the rest of my fellow Team Eat members, the Munch crew brought it on home and put sleep to bed. And that covers it for Splatoon Splaturday stuff in July. Next up, a quick word about the Nintendo-thon, and I say quick because everything's sorted out, and we're kicking things off on Sunday the 2nd of August at 7 PM BST, that's British Summer Time, or 2 PM EST, that's Eastern Standard Time. I'll be doing a separate video detailing the upload schedule for when the runs are going on YouTube, as well as the playthroughs I'm about to mention. Stay tuned for that. Finally, what's coming next? Well, what's dropping in August, to be precise. Besides the Nintendo-thon, of course, we've actually got proper HFC content for you this year. Last year, the Sonic-a-thon kept us pretty busy, and content creation was a tad unfocused, but 2015 has reignited the Hellfire spark, so to speak, and we're good to go now. You can look forward to, among other things, Shadow of the Colossus, a semi-live run, played by me, and featuring Ryan and Johnny from HFC, who joined me for commentary, and they watched me playing the game via Skype, which led to a lot of amusing situations. This is definitely one of my favourite HFC playthroughs to date, so be sure to check it out. Also coming in August is our next Zelda playthrough, The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD. Obviously, Misc joins me for this one, and he brings the commentary heat, as always. Following that, a trio of super hard retro games that we announced at the end of our Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone playthrough. Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts, and Super Ghouls and Ghosts. This is a full cast dealio, which means that Helldragon, Richie, and of course Misc, who recorded the games, are joining me for this one. And that's that. August, as you can no doubt tell, is going to be packed for us, so I apologise in advance if the upload schedule seems a tad overwhelming at first. I'll try my best to make sure it's reasonable while still getting the Nintendo-thon runs up on YouTube as fast as possible. Thanks for supporting us in 2015 so far, guys. It's been a great year so far, but we're only just getting started. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.